right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know some people are still trickling in and finding seats, but we want to go ahead and get started. We've got a full presentation today. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Katie. I'm the general manager at ADAC, and welcome to day 2 of Discover ADAC, our fall market. It's been an awesome 2 days so far, but don't forget we have one more day left. Before we get started today, I want to just remind everyone to grab a copy of your event guide that has all of the events that are happening all day tomorrow. If there's anything that you haven't signed up for, make sure to register. And while you're at it, we have a program that we're bringing back. Backed by popular demand, our Behind the Windows program. We have 3 designers that have offices here at ADAC that have designed 3 beautiful vignettes. Those can be found in Suite 238 and Suite 503. So we hope you will go check those out. You can find more details about that in your event guide. I also always want to remind everybody to have some fun with us on social media. We absolutely love looking through social media to see all the stories and the fun pictures that you're posting. Use our hashtag this week. It's Discover ADAC. Our handle is at ADAC Atlanta. And then, of course, in your event guide, you will find all of our partner brands, our media partners, and our speakers' social handles. So interact with us, have some fun, use that hashtag so that we can repost all of your fun stories and things that are going on this week, too. I want to thank, of course, our media partner, VERANDA, today. Our showroom partner is Pierre Frey, and I want to remind everyone that we are going to go up after this presentation to the gorgeous new Pierre Frey showroom in Suite 308. So that it is a space you do not want to miss. So can't wait to see you all there. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Ellen McGauley, who's the executive editor of VERANDA.
Thanks so much, Katie, and to Mackenzie and Cammie and everyone at ADAC. You know what season it is? This is our first stop for VERANDA every fall. We know we're back with the design community and sort of just kind of like, it's so invaluable to hear what you've been up to and what you're seeing coming forward. And so this is where we go for that. We're so glad to be at ADAC. It is bustling. Is it just me? Everyone is, there's so many people here. It is so exciting to be here with everyone. And so much has happened since the spring. VERANDA has launched a bigger, richer version of our magazine, and it's very much in line with our founding here in Atlanta 35 years ago. Lots more decorating and architecture and travel and gardens. We're about 4 issues in now of our, what we call VERANDA 2.0, which is really sort of like this return to luxe in magazines. And I just want to thank you all for being part of our family, because VERANDA is you. It is all of you, and it's so nice to be here in person. You're usually in your design offices or your homes, and we're making the magazine, and here we are together. So it's really exciting to see you all. Building, and building, which is a great thing to be able to say in the magazine industry today. So speaking of building, a lot has happened since the spring. And how many people have been to the Pierre Frey showroom? Yeah. Did you black out? It's pretty amazing. I would have been happy with any answer, because I can watch the reactions when you go there after this, or knowing that you haven't passed it by yet and seen what is awaiting in there. So that's where we are. That's why we have Mr. Patrick Frey here with us together on the heels of the opening of that showroom in June, right? And I have to say, coming in, there's a couple favorite things about this. A one-on-one chat is always my favorite at a design conference, because I feel like we can cover a lot of ground and feels like we're sitting by the fire or something. But also, this one is a rare treat, because I think we build this as a voyage, like looking at, let me see exactly how we build it, generational voyage of Pierre Frey in luxury textiles. You know, being founded in the 1930s, how you stick to your roots, how you continue to lead and stay sort of at the top of the industry. But I think with our guest today, we could have called this a masterclass in leadership, in the creative arts, in inspiration, in all of these things. So I think it's a rare treat. I kind of walked in here with a spring in my step, because Patrick and I, we talked about a month ago, and I thought, how are we going to cram all of this in? So would you join me in welcoming Patrick Frey of Maison Pierre Frey? I'm so excited to get this started. Are we going to fit all of this in? We have a lot to talk about. Look at all these people that are here to hear everything we have to say.
I just want to say that we wait for you after that in our showroom, but with a glass of champagne.
Yes. Who can pass that up? We're going to dig into the inner world of Pierre Frey that you all know and love and have known for all of these years. But there's something that came up very early on in our initial conversation that I want to start with, because I think it lends so much context to the direction and vision of this company. And that is, I forgot what I even asked you, but you said, well, I hate the word marketing. When you think, in the context of thinking of that when you're creating, marketing is the last thing that you think about. That's what you said to me. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and in your process of creating?
Well, I hope nobody's in the marketing business here.
You still market, it's just not what you're thinking of when you're creating.
No, we need marketing. I love marketing, but after creation. They come after. And if you ask marketing to share the design and creation in my company, in what I'm doing, if they tell me that this year it's yellow, and next year it's going to be small designs, and in 2 years it's going to be stripes, and no, please, no. Donc the woman who ran the marketing team, and I love her very much, she's great, but it's forbidden to come to the studio before the collection is finished. Because I think it's a little bit pretentious. I always say that you talk about creation when you're dead. Because after that, we can say today that Picasso was a genius, but well, before we do what we can, and we try to do our best. You call that creation, I call that inspiration, I call that fun, I call that games, I call that, I mean, there's a lot of words, but creation is such a big word. Mm-hmm. And such an important word that I'm very careful in using that in my little modest decoration business.
Yeah.
You see, I think it's very pretentious for me.
Right, and you're not leading with what other people are thinking is going to happen in this world.
No, I'm not leading. Because you asked me, I can answer that very easily. I was so lucky, in a way, to be a lonely son. Because I had no brothers, I had no sisters, and I came here when I was 20. I worked for Brunswick and Fees during 2 years. I discovered that this world was a dream. I wanted to stay. My father asked me to go back. I came back to Paris. And very quickly he said, you know, I can die tomorrow. I said, me too. He said, yes, but we don't have the same age. Donc please, and I don't know, 6 months later, I had to do my first fabric. I had no idea, not a clue of what I was going to do. And since then, slowly, I'm 75 today, nearly 50 years that I'm working and designing. We're still there, that's all I can say. Having fun, doing what we wanted to do, and that's what I wanted to say. The great privilege, I think, of Pierre Frey is to be my own boss. You see, we don't have any shareholders, we don't have any people telling us how we manage our company. It's a little private company, and I'm my own boss, and I do what I want, when I want, the way I want, in terms of creation. Can be wrong, can be totally ridiculous, can be awful, sometimes nice, once in a while a success. To have this possibility on the long run is a plus because you judge yourself. I mean, if I miss a collection, if I do something wrong, I'm not going to call the stylist and say, look, you're ridiculous. Bon, look, when I shave in the morning, I say, I miss this. But if it's a success, same thing. And same thing on finance. Same thing on finance. If the company is not doing well, if I have a good team, the responsible, it's always me. Mm-hmm. There's always a limit where the guy come and see you and say, Patrick, what are you doing? Dude, well, you're the one.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great chance because on the long run, I don't say you learn because you never learn, but you try to balance in a better way when you become older, I think. Well,
And just to clarify, your role right now, you are the honorary president and the creative director, correct? Correct? Okay.
Yes, because I have 3 sons.
Yes.
The 3 sons I never asked came to me the one after the other, and one is with me for more than 20 years, the other one about 12 or 15 years, and the last one a little bit less than 10 years. We get along so well. I think they're talented, because I would never do it if I did not think that. And I think it's very nice. I think the best thing we can do in life is transmission. Like when you have kids, you transmit what you can for the kids. And I had this company. I thought it was good for them to take over, 3rd generation, because my dad created it, as you say. And I think it was time to do it, and to do it, thanks God, not because it's urgent, not because I'm senile or I don't know what, just because I wanted to do it and because I thought they had the possibility to do it.
Yeah.
Donc I did that during 2 or 3 years. It took me a long time, but now that's done, except creation. Donc I told them, I give you the company, you take care of everything, but I keep the creation for a few more years, because I think that in creation, you can't be 2. It's like a chef in a kitchen. A chef in a kitchen, he's alone, selling cooking what he can cook. He has a good team around him, but at the end, you have one guy. I need a little bit more pepper, or this or that. There's one guy. And I think that in creation, in a company, you can make furniture, I don't know, a scarf or fabrics. The problem is the same. If you have many people who make the decision at the same time, it's a mess. Donc it's wrong or it's right, but you're the only one to make the decision at the end.
Yeah. And so you have your 3 sons. Is it Vincent that is
Vincent
the
Pierre
president?
Mathieu.
That's and that is who is the current president, correct?
Vincent, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
6 months ago, it's brand new.
There's a lot of new things. There's the new showroom, which we're going to talk about in a bit, and
you know, it's a dream for me as a father to be the employees of my son.
oh yes, they're your boss, right?
I think there's something fantastic.
Yeah.
About.
Well, okay, this is something that I thought was really interesting, because obviously working with family, it can be really great, or we won't even go to the other place that it really could be. And so some people deal with that and some would think don't, but there's so many lessons to learn from that. You have said working with family gives your company strength. The dynamics work well for you. You can react very quickly. Talk about how some of those dynamics work really well when you're working with family and the way that your family works together.
Yes, it's difficult to explain. Just I have the chance to, the family is getting along very well together. And it's a remarriage, because I educated 2 girls, I have 3 boys, we put them all together. They're like exactly brothers and sisters. Today they're 41, 43, 44, 45, 46. And when we met, they were 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Donc you see, and we still, it works.
Yeah.
It works. Donc it's impossible to explain why. Because I think there's no rule, there's no, probably we did our job correctly, probably we had nice kids, probably and 4 of them work with me, because my stepdaughter, Amandine, is the head of the British market. She lives in London.
You've said that, you know, people aren't really afraid to tell the boss no, or to really say how they feel and be candid, right? When you work with, in your dynamic and working with family, that's, and you've said that you're able to react a bit more quickly.
I think you have to be clear with your children, and I prefer to work with people that I know than probably with people I don't know. Because if they're late in the morning when they're 25 because they went to bed late because they were in a nightclub, I wait behind the door. Right? Because they do that at 25, and if they understand the rule, after that they're on time.
Yeah.
Well, fine, it's a stupid example, but that's a little bit the way.
It's identifiable.
It was the same for me. It was the same for
absolutely. You know, getting into a bit of the textiles, one thing you are very clear on is your point of view. Pierre Frey will always be as French as we can. Can you talk about why having this very clear direction, that very clear identity, has been so important to your success? Has it ensured your success?
No, I think the world is so big, but in the same time so small. And if you come to Pierre Frey, to the showroom, it's because you want something different, and you want something with a kind of French background somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's like, once again, take example in food. The pizza is Italian, the cheeseburger is American, the steak pop fric is French, and the English I don't know, but the Spanish I don't know. But it's, if tomorrow the French are doing pizza and if the French are doing cheeseburger, it does not work. Or I mean, you have to keep your roots. And even if we're exporting, because we're a small country, 80% of our business worldwide, France is only 20%, and America is our best market by far, and so proud of it, so proud of it. You really have to I don't know what was the question.
No, about remembering what your identity is and just being like,
Wait,
they can do that.
I'm sorry. You have to be French,
right.
And keep it as much as you can, because it's your culture. And I also believe that's for me very important that interior designs reflect, especially fabrics and wallpaper, reflects your culture, your past, and your present. Donc the French, because they're French, they have Versailles, they have a lot of things, but when you talk about Versailles, they know you're French. And I think it's very important all your life, even if you do very modern products, even if you do carpets or anything, you have to keep these roots, because that's your background, that's your I was born like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember that when I was a kid, my mother was showing me all over the country all the time. You see this roof, you have this here, you will not have it in Brittany. That's come from this region. You see the door, you see you learn your background, personally for me, I learn my roots, and I try to keep them as much as I can, even if I work with an American artist or Chinese or Japanese or in English or Italian. I always switch it in a way that it's going to be a Frey product. Mm-hmm. And I think, as I said before, it's very important to have a filter. For the moment, the filter, it's me. And I try, it can be modern, it can be classic, it can be, at the end, like the oil, what happened in the bottom has to be Frey.
Yeah. That's something that I can really identify with, and we have Robert Rufino in the audience as well. In magazines, we always, we have a lot of things that we can put in the magazine, and so it really helps us filter what is Veranda, and we have our certain tenets. For us, it's history, it's architecture. There's always a context of history, and I think we've always had a kinship with Pierre Frey, and that we're sort of looking through that lens of history, but in terms of livability now. And so that's something I could really identify with in terms of distilling it down and saying, yeah, but who are we? What these other people can do their thing, but who are we?
And you see, I'm interrupting you again, but I think, and because I was on my own, what I love is eclecticism. I think I could not run this business for so many years if I was always doing, I don't know, classic prints or velvets. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I can switch when I want, the way I want. If I want to do a baby collection because I love children, I can do it. If tomorrow I go back to Egypt because I did a trip in Egypt and suddenly I want to do a collection, I can do it. And the team behind me, with me, I change my mind all the time, become crazy. But very often I arrive in the morning, I say, I told you yesterday that we would do this. Forget it, we go in a different direction. And the fact, as you say, to have a family business and to be small can react very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly, in 24 hours. When you are a big company, I have to ask to the management, or I have to ask to the financial guy, or I have to ask to the marketing.
It's like taking a big ship and trying to steer it somewhere else.
No,
There's
but
a lot of
everything
things.
goes so quickly. Quickly that very often for me it's in my bed at night, and very often I say, my God, I did not think about that. I must do that. The following morning, 9 o'clock, we change everything. or we continue everything.
Yeah.
But I mean to be free. And I think in creation, you have to be free. If you have someone who comes and tell you, you're going to do it, it's so expensive, you want to do that? A beautiful bag is expensive. If you buy an Hermes bag or a Gucci bag, it's very expensive. But a beautiful fabric has to be expensive. But it has to be unique.
Yeah.
If it's expensive and cheap, there's something wrong. But if you do everything done by hand, by wonderful artists, if you have beautiful background, beautiful colors, that really takes you 6 months or a year to have it, yes, it's expensive, but who cares? And I think our designers, you here, you judge, you know your job enough to know if it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
You know if it's worth it to go to Frey or to go to someone else.
Yeah, you can see the hand, you can see the craft in
You
it.
feel
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah. Can you, and so sometimes does it echo in your head what your father said? What did he say? He said one idea a day? You're allowed one
I
idea
told
a
you
day?
that so. He said, Patrick, you have too many ideas. One a day is enough. I was 22 or 23. Oh, but I'm like that. No. Well, and you know, for fabrics, and that's how you learn, because I knew nothing about fabrics. I no school, absolutely nothing. He was taking 2 samples. He said, you put that in your bag. You do this. I give you 2 samples, just for the hand. Which one do you prefer? This one. No, that's the wrong one. Do it again. and you learn. And you learn. Like music, you learn. And after a few years, you learn. I did that about Brunswick because really I was there. I don't want to be rude to anyone, but when Brunswick was the big Brunswick, it was alone, the master company in America. I was there in from 69 to 71. And the famous Mrs. Brunswick, called Mrs. B, she was calling me in her office, incredible small lady. And she said, Patrick, you see this design? There's something wrong. It was a document. Tell me what's wrong. I thought everything was perfect. I said, it's nice. No, well, I leave you 15 minutes. I was coming back. She said, did you find something? I said, no. She was showing me, you see the button here? You see the cherry? Said, no, well, I knew. And she was doing that with me every once a month, twice a month. I can swear you that after 6 months, you know immediately. Immediately. I was coming in and I said, no, that's wrong. And she was right.
Oh, wow.
And today, when I arrive in the office with my little team, we're 6, and they said, I worked on that. Did you like it? I said, no. Immediately, I don't have to think 10 seconds. Just because you learn like you learn music, like you learn to read or anything. I mean, it's the same story. I think you, probably because I catched it, because it was in my blood.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I was just going to say, it's almost like the reaction you have when it's in your DNA. You know, you just kind of know. Can you tell us a bit about how the Egypt collection came about? That
Which
was
one?
the Egyptian collection. We covered it in our September, October, the one that you collaborated on with the Louvre. How did that come about, and was that something that you had been wanting to do for a while?
Yes. I think 10 years ago with my wife, we did a wonderful cruise on the Louvre, on the Nile. I wanted absolutely to do a trip because that's the best trip you can do in your life. And we had the chance to go on a little boat and have the chance to see this. And I always said, it's magic to realize that they did that 2,000 years ago. Perfect, jewelry, perfect, great design. But I say, who in 2022 would live with an Egyptian people in front of his bed? Well, the problem was how to reorganize this thing. Donc I kept that in my mind during perhaps 10 years, something like that. And 2 years ago, no, it would be before the COVID. 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the Met in New York. And there's a wonderful little temple on the side. And each time, Egyptian temple, and each time I go to New York, I'd love to go to this temple on Sunday morning because I think it's magic there. And on going back to my hotel, I crossed the Egyptian wing. And I looked everywhere. I said, that's divine. Once again, I took pictures with my telephone. I just like this. And immediately, because I try to do things immediately, my wife, my kid, they're all crazy about that. Because I did it immediately. Because after that, it's too late. And I sent all these pictures to to a young artist that I had in Italy, and I say, Erasmo, I would love you to reorganize that. I have an idea. And we did a print, totally. We began with this, and this print was alone. And I said, well, I can test it. We'll see, because it was different. And don't ask me why. Bestseller. Bestseller. After a year, and I said, it's so good on fabrics, I'm going to do it on a wallpaper. Bestseller. You never know what a bestseller is.
Yeah.
Because if you knew, everybody would do bestseller. Well, and I did not, and I said, there's something there. There's something here. And boom, but that was 3 years ago, COVID went through. And last year, we received a call from the Louvre Museum in Paris. And the young guy was a friend of my son, Vincent. And he said, the Louvre, you know, we have a new policy, and we would love to have kind of, how do you call that? Partnership, thank you. Partnership with you, and would you be interested by something? And I was near to the phone. I say, immediately, I say, Vincent, Egypt. And Vincent said, well, my dad would be interested. He said, come and see us. Donc, during 6 months, the Louvre was open every Tuesday for us because it was closed. We could go wherever we wanted to go.
Wow.
Dream. Alone in the Louvre. Dream. We see the reserve. Dream. And finally, with the team, we reorganized. And that's where I love my job. If you don't understand that, is that you go from the idea, and after that, you twist it. If it is to copy what has been done, they don't need us. The idea is to think, I live in New York, I live in Atlanta, I live in Moscow, I live in South Africa, I live in Stockholm, and how could I use, I'm 20 years old, I'm 30 years old, I'm 60 years old, I'm 70 years old, how can I do it in a nice way where it's not going to be too much? Donc after that, it's a twist. Well, it takes you, sometimes you do it, sometimes you never find it. And working, designing, changing, well, that's how I did the final collection.
Yeah, well, it's so art. I mean, to think about the art of that, of to say, okay, well, we need to be true to the identity of, say, it's like the Egyptian inspiration, and then your identity, that's such a true art. And I saw you kind of going like this. It's almost like stirring again in the kitchen.
No, but you know,
Yeah.
I come back very often to kitchen and the cooking things, because in fact, when you do a good recipe, all of you, I'm sure you do good recipes, you need a little bit of pepper, oil, vinegar, or garlic, or anything. After that, you mix it until it is what you want to offer to your friends or family. In our industry, in our business, for me, it's also a recipe. If you do a big design, you need a little design. After that, I said, check would be nice with this. Well, and you add a little check. And after that, you have to find the check. And a stripe would be great, but how could we do an Egyptian stripe? But not too Egyptian. And slowly, a plain would be wonderful, but what kind of colors? Like you go back, you know, the color, and slowly, it takes time, naturally. You built it as a recipe.
Yeah.
And finally, when you feel that, I don't know, beautiful velvet, there is one that I love in the showroom that we just did with the silk velvet. Well, finally, when I received it, I said, that's it, we got it. And also, you need, as everywhere, and everybody, you need a wedding dress. Donc you do the collection, but if you don't have a wedding dress where everybody's going to do wow, even if they don't like it.
So that's the wow item.
But I wait for the wow.
Is that come at the end or the beginning, or just any time?
You never know.
Okay.
Sometimes you stop the collection if you don't have your wow. But when you look for it, you find it.
Well, okay, so Kim gave me a great tour earlier. Is that the stuff we're going to see up front? Are those wedding dresses up front in the showroom?
The two wallpapers?
There's like all those things that are like, they're more maximalist. They're bigger patterns. Is that what you mean by that, or it can be just?
It's different.
It doesn't mean it's a big pattern. It's just.
Right.
Yeah.
And I cannot answer to this because I don't know. No, it's true. I really don't know. I think I was born in the pot because my mother was a designer. I think God gave me this sensibility. I don't know why. I think I learned a lot at Brunswick when I was young because she was. I said she was the Coco Chanel of the furnishing fabrics. She was absolutely incredible. After that, I learned a lot with my dad. And probably I had that in me. And honestly, today at my age, I still do it as a good meal. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and that's why I don't want to stop.
You still love it, right?
Because
Right.
as long as it works, as long as you come to our showroom, as long as you will be surprised, as long as at the end the sales will be good, well, I continue because it's my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a great thing also because it's not, you don't do that in the office. You do that in the street, you do that on the beach, you do that in Guatemala, you do that in Paris, you do that in a dress, in an evening with friends. Suddenly you say, my God, so nice. Well, you catch something,
Yeah.
and from this thing that you catch, you don't know why, you turn the pot and slowly out. Sometimes, catastrophe, never works. It would be too easy, yeah? And that's also a mystery. I tell you that because it's really, I think, what you want. I love to do it in-house, but we also work with a lot of designers, and I love to receive, I always say, grandmother, student, artist, and sometimes studio. They come to see me, and they come, and I'm scared because they put on the table a pile of design like this. And they said, well, I will sell my design. I work during, and they move their design one by one, and suddenly they're the one. Why? I still don't know.
Why they chose this
I still
over
don't
this.
understand why I stop on one design and not on another one.
Yeah.
And if I had a team, and the team works also with other design, why do I choose this one? It's come from there. Because there's no logical, totally irrational.
Yeah, the word irrational, I remember that because you were talking about even like, because we all know there's these tiny little minuscule differences between this color and this color sometimes, right? And so even to you, that's a mystery.
But it's
right?
a mystery. You take a plane.
It's a mystery to you. It's a mystery to
You
everybody.
take a plane. You do 40 colors, and 2 blues are very close. But I love to do 2 blues because I think in this collection, I need 2 blues. One you will sell, I don't know, 1,000 meters, 1,000 yards. The other one 2 yards. Why? Well, alors, why? You see, alors, that's why talk to me about marketing after that. Never. Never, because someone can explain the mystery of creation. And that's what I love, because it's absolutely, and I have another story. My son, Vincent, president of Pierre Frey now, came to me a few months ago. I had all my colors for a new plane on my board. And he said, oh, Dad, you're doing 5 yellows. You know, I looked at the statistics. 5 yellow, they don't sell yellows. I said, yes, but they will sell. because if you, and once again, if you respect that, you say, okay, we don't do any yellow, there's no harmony anymore. Or perhaps you can reduce 1 yellow because he was probably right. But look, I had to say, oh my God, now I have my sons. I have to be a good boy. But you see, and that's what I love in this business. Is that I never know what's going to happen, and you never know what's going to sell. Like the tapestry we have in the corridor. You will see I'm not going to tell you that, it would be too long. But same thing, something that I found somewhere like this, and I really thought that we would never sell a yard of it, and it's a bestseller.
Yeah, and you still, yeah.
Voilà. Donc,
well, what is
so lucky.
So lucky.
I'm so lucky.
It's what?
But I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky.
Well, it's what is your advice? Because I'm always looking when something doesn't work at all for failure. What is your advice to those of us as we kind of come across? I mean, I don't know what it would be in our worlds, but something that doesn't hit the way that you think it does, it will. How do you deal with failure when something doesn't quite work?
I don't understand.
You just move on.
What do you mean?
When say you think this is going to be a wonderful idea and it doesn't sell or it's not well received.
Okay.
How do you handle that kind of thing?
Quite well in a way. Not when I was young, but quite well, because if you learn from that.
Yeah.
Well, you learn. I'm not sure you learn because you don't know why a bestseller is a bestseller. You don't
right.
know why a bad one is a bad one. What I can say is I never did something that I would not like. I mean, my decision, and once again, the fact that I'm free, very often, the team say, oh, you're not going to do this colorway, because I say, yes, I'm going to do it because I love it. Well, can be wrong, can be right.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's wrong, it's part of the game. Once again, I go back to my dad. He said, try to have 51% of good products, and the company will go on. If it is the reverse, you're dead. Well, and voilà. After that, you cannot. It would be very pretentious to say that you know what you have to do. It's a little bit a game. Huh?
Yeah. That leaves a lot of room for creativity.
Oui, absolutely.
51%. That leaves a lot of room
Alors,
for creativity.
when on some collection after that, you have, alors, now that I have my sons with me, they're more organized than me. Alors, Vincent comes to my office, say, Dad, alors, the new collection 6 months ago, 72% of this is good, no, it's bad. And this collection, 42% is good. I said, keep your figures, I don't care. Well, run the company, and if I'm one day all above, under 50, I will go to the country do something else.
I want to touch on a minute what we've talked about being out in the world, and a lot of your creations come from, like you said, you could be in a restaurant, you could be in a different country. We talked earlier about just, you were describing, I believe, the south of France, and you were kind of smelling it. There's a very sensory part to it. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of being out there to creating, being out in the world and seeing new things to creating, and what that does to feed you?
You see, I learned from my mom that a lot of people look at things, but they don't see. And I learned, and when this famous Mrs. B was telling me the mistake on a print, or when my mother was explaining me, you learn from that, and I need to see, and I need to be outside, that's for sure. And I was telling you this afternoon that we have the chance, we bought a little house in Provence, near Avignon, if you've been to France. It's in the middle of Provence. It's a dream, because it's like Tuscany in Italy. I mean, it's two parts of the world where you have the good smell, you have the good oil, you have, I don't know if it is this, you have the good oil, you have the little, how do you say, les cigales, I don't know, how do you call that?
Oh, yeah,
What?
the sound of the cicada.
Well,
Yeah.
the noise when you get out from the train,
Yeah.
where you have this wonderful countryside, this lavender everywhere. After that, you go to a little village, you have 5 antique dealers, divine with their accents, and then all this. I mean, it brings you, I don't know, for me, it's not like that everywhere, even if you find ideas everywhere. But it's true that Tuscany, and especially Provence, you go to a little concert outside in the gardens. After that, you can have a conference somewhere in a castle. It's charming. I mean, it's still the life we like, all of us, I'm sure here, that we don't have in big cities anymore. And I need that to find my inspiration, even if I don't know exactly when and how. I know there's something happening.
Yeah.
Your brain breathes.
Your brain breathes, and it might even be doing that, and you don't even know that it's doing it, and it comes back later. It comes too later, right?
Come back later.
Yeah.
You know, I just did 2 years ago a collection on Provence, but from the 50s. Because there was all this Cocteau and all these artists from the 50s they all went to Provence. Donc I said it would be amusing to do a collection on Provence, but not now, but from the past. And past, not very far, it's 50 years ago, 70 years ago. And I had such a pleasure to find, he said, no, you find a little artist, a ceramist. He said, not me, no, I know what you want, Patrick. No, not me, but my father, I have something in my bedroom. Come back, he said, look, you like that? It's absolutely superb. And from that, you built, same thing, turn the recipe. And after that, he said, if you like that, you should be my friend, you should go and see my friend, blah, blah, blah. So you go and see the friend, it's horrible. But the friend will tell you, you should go to, and slowly, it comes.
Yeah, it's
or
building.
it never comes. And after that, when you have your collection, you're so proud, and sometimes you don't sell it.
Yeah.
And you're so sad. That's part of the game.
Yeah, it's still a success. I mean, right.
If you begin to be pretentious and to think you are the great creator and that everybody will love you, you're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to be on the top of the list.
Yeah.
But after that, you're the judge.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think all of the creators in this room are getting very inspired on how to do it. And I want to say we will open it up for questions at the end. But you also said something to me about that you operate, especially with this new showroom here, and it's very apparent when you're in there, you operate a showroom the way you operate at a house, a home. Mm-hmm. Tell me how that kind of makes that different, that showroom experience different.
You know, when I worked with Brunswick when I was young, I had the chance to go all around your country, and I think I know America quite well. After that, I even rent a 42-foot long RV with my 5 kids to go all around the States. I have been everywhere, nearly. But when you have this, even these showrooms are showrooms, and they all look alike, more or less. Same thing in England, and in France we have no showroom. The fact is mainly American and English. And when we decided to open our first showroom here, I said, well, I have to do it as a maison. And not, and you know, a very funny thing, I read recently that E.T., you all remember E.T.
Yes.
Well, by E.T., what does he say? The first word when he get out, it's an American movie, he say maison. He say maison. Incroyable. Because they did a marketing research for the case, and maison was the word known by the planet.
But in English, is it?
No, he said that in French. Really? He said that in French. He said maison when he get out from his thing. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Donc I said, well, if he say that, perhaps as the people of Earth, I could, and in the showrooms, no, I'm joking, but in the showroom, I think it's nice to have a little maison, to smell to give the atmosphere of what we have in Paris. Donc it's always cheminée, French. It's always a little classic things, a place where you can have tea, a place where you can sit, where you can talk, and to be different from all this. Naturally, everybody needs space. Everybody wants all these hangers like this. And if you sell fabrics, and if you want to put all your fabrics everywhere as much as you can, you sell fabrics. But if you do something else, I think you can sell a little bit of dream. It's a little bit different. No, it's pretentious, and that's what Fiona, who works with me, that's what I tell her all the time. I say, I want dream. We sell dreams, and you sell dream to your customers. Because if we sell a blue cotton toile, not fun. But if you say that your cotton toile comes from Greece because you found a little piece of painting, you took the blue and you put it on your cotton toile, and you sell a little bit of sun, suddenly it's dream. It's not the toile, but it's the same product.
Yeah. I can't follow that. There's nothing I can say that would be anything better than what you just said.
No, it's true. And with Fiona, who's president of the States for Pierre Frey here, that I know for a few years, I told her that all the time. Keep the charm. Keep. When we go into the showroom, it must happen. Something must arrive. It's a little bit pretentious because the showroom is a showroom, and we all sell products. But still, you can move it a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be a storyteller.
So that's why I think to give a different feeling. And also, we don't sell clothes, we don't sell shoes. We sell products for the home. Donc it's a kind of entrance to this world. Donc our job is to give this little difference to people, and she does it so well.
Absolutely. Patrick, thank you so much. We're going to open it up for some questions, if that's okay. But because I can't follow that. That is an amazing way to sort of to turn it over to you all to see if anyone has any questions for Patrick today.
And remember, I have a mic.
And we have a mic right here.
So
right
if you'll
here
just wait for me to get to you, I can run quickly.
Yeah, Katie moves pretty fast around this place.
I lived in Europe for years, and I worked with Von Havre in St. Nicholas, Belgium. Do you know what happened to them?
No.
Did they go with a German company?
What the name again?
The name again?
Wait.
Von Havre. And he married Madame Metzavara. And they lived in the south of France. And then the company disappeared.
And you know, I'm sorry because I don't know them, but I think the problem in our companies, and that's why I'm so fortunate to be the second generation and to have sons who follow me. That would be the third generation, and that all these businesses, they dies with their owners. You have that in fashion, you have that in many jobs. Look Givenchy without Mr. Givenchy. Well, or Dior is an exception, or Chanel is an exception because they're huge. But I mean, a lot of beautiful fashion or even artists making, I don't know what, they disappear when they die because it's very, very personal. And you try to express your know-how. And when you disappear or when you're getting old and you don't have this, and that always scares me, that I'm sure that in 3 years you can put your company down completely if the collections are not good. It's so quick today. Everything goes so fast.
What do you think of Axel Vervoort?
What do I think?
Of Axel Vervoort.
Axel Vervoort. Beautiful designer in Antwerpen, great designer. Great designer. Great designer. Belgium is a Belgium. Antique dealers, and very talented man. Oui, for sure. He has his sons working with him now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love your suntan. Very French.
Not a question, but a comment. I think if many American fabric houses had aspired to follow your lead and your loyalty to your line, they would still be around.
Thank you. But I mean, you see, I think there's no bad things or good thing. We all try to have our way. And I must say I have the chance to be on my own and to have only one way to follow. And a lot of companies, as I said before, because they're structured like that, they have to do green because it's going to be green. They have to do plains because you have to do plain. They have to do flowers. I don't care about that. I don't even know. I don't do flowers. When I found a document in a flea market and I'm, oh my God, so nice. I don't know what it is. We do it. Donc I'm more perhaps personal than many companies, but I think American people do very well. I'm not going to give names, but Jack Lawson was one of them. Robin Roberts from Clarence House was one of them. That was my generation, but what a man, Mr. Roberts from Clarence House. He was my teacher. Yes, I was young. Huh?
They all tried to get into furniture. They all tried to get into lamps and furniture and what have you.
But you see, once again, I love Clarence House, but it's not Roberts anymore. Canovas, Manuel Canovas. Wow. Well, it's not Canovas anymore, even if it's very nice. I don't put any judgment. But it was his personal feeling. Manuel Canovas was Manuel Canovas. There's nothing you can do. And same thing for Larsen, same thing for Brunswick, same thing for Clarence, same thing for many companies in America and all over the world. But it was very personal. And when it's sold to a bank or when it's sold to someone else, it becomes something else. Because marketing is behind it, and the guideline is profit. And voilà, that's not, bon, naturally, I love to live nicely. I had 5 kids, and I had to raise them. But except that, I never dreamed to have a castle in Provence. Just a little house, that's enough.
Any more questions?
Other questions?
No? Don't be shy. No? Okay. Well, I think
On behalf of Veranda, I want to thank you so much for being here. I think this was just absolutely inspirational. Thank you so much.
absolutely. And I have here. So I do have one little comment. I was lucky enough to be part of a group that was over in Paris and got to go to the archives at the Pierre Frey archives. There's some of the designers are in this room. That it was a real treat. It was very magical. And while we can't take you to Paris today, I think the next best thing is upstairs in Suite 308 in the Pierre Frey showroom.
May I add just one thing?
You've got a mic on.
Ah, oui, that's true. That's true, I forgot. Yes, I just want to say that to finish, because I think I'm very attached to you, because when I was here very young, I wanted to live in America. And finally, for a lot of reasons, I had to go back, especially because I was an only son, especially because my dad was old and was telling me every morning that he would die the following day. He died at 90, very well. But still, my life changed. And I always said, well, I will come back one day because this country, I think, in a way, is my country. And I must find, and that's why I'm very proud to have slowly built Pierre Frey in America, that it's going well, that you love what we do, and that we expand regularly in a nice way. And for a French company, it's not easy to settle down in a country like America, because as you know, when you're in France, when you're in Paris, you're in France. When you're in New York, you're not in America. And when you're in LA, you're not in America. And when you are in Atlanta, you're not in America. I always say it's not a country, it's a continent. Donc to be in the continent and accepted from Denver to Atlanta, from New York to LA, and from Seattle to Houston, it has been a long way, and I'm very pleased because it works. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. We will see you all up in Suite 308.
Follow us to the
Yes.
to the champagne.